War. War never changes.
Fallout New Vegas was officially announced with a fall 2010 release window. I'm anticipating this game just like many other people, and I'm here to tell you right now that unless something big gets in the way, I will be producing guides over it just like I have been for Fallout 3. I'm also going to share some of my insight on the game, which involve things that are already known and any type of conclusions that can be drawn from that info. The first thing to know is that it runs off of the same game engine as Fallout 3, which was released back in 2008. Second is that unlike Fallout 3, New Vegas is not being developed by Bethesda Softworks. Instead, a company named Obsidian Entertainment is at the helm. Now, this is an important factor in how the game will turn out, in lines of, at the very least, story. To understand why this is going to affect the game, it's important to know a little backstory. The first two Fallout games were made by the development house Black Isle Studio, a subsidiary of Interplay Entertainment. However, back in 2003, whenever Interplay slipped into a very bad financial state, they began to cut costs and liquidate their assets to remain afloat. In the process, Black Isle Studio was dissolved, the entire staff laid off, and Fallout, amongst other titles, were sold off. When this happened and the Fallout title surfaced on the market for purchase, it caught the eye of a company based out of Bethesda, Maryland. Bethesda Softworks, which was best known for its Elder Scrolls series, just by chance employed a host of people who had an affinity for the Fallout series. Tempted with the opportunity to make the next game in the series, they snatched up the rights to make Fallout 3 and 2 sequels. This happened back in 2004, and 3 years later in 2007, Bethesda managed to acquire the Fallout franchise in its entirety. Now, back in 2003, whenever Interplay dissolved Black Isle Studios and laid off its entire staff, the employees naturally went on to find other jobs elsewhere in the gaming industry. However, some of the employees who worked on the original Fallout games were bold and decided to seize the moment, stick together, and found their own company called Obsidian Entertainment in the same year of 2003. This is where things start to get interesting. The future of Fallout was beginning to change with it being in the hands of Bethesda Softworks, and the cogs of fate began to speed up whenever Bethsoft acquired the full rights in 2007. It was between the years of 2007 and 2009 that Obsidian Entertainment was successful in striking a deal with Bethesda to make another Fallout game. This game was given the title Fallout New Vegas, and its development was announced in April of 2009. Okay, so by now you're probably asking, why is all of this important? As with any game that changes hands and still continues, the fan base will split. In this case, there are two main camps: people who played the original Fallout games but hate Fallout 3, and then there's the group who's never played the old games but loves Fallout 3. The importance of Obsidian getting into the mix is how many of their employees are the very definition of what Fallout used to be since they made the original Fallout games. Now, because Fallout New Vegas uses the same game engine as Fallout 3, it makes New Vegas a kind of hybrid. Bethesda has changed the game by fitting it to a radically different game engine. Since Obsidian is using the same game engine, they're bound to the new style of Fallout, but the character, feel, and story of the game are still very pliable and left in the hands of the original franchise developers who currently work at Obsidian. This means that Fallout New Vegas is a fusion of both the new and the old, which will undoubtedly make a rather different experience. But I just spewed out a whole lot of info there, so what else can be drawn from it? Well, how about the proposed release time for New Vegas? Since Obsidian answers to Bethesda when making this game, and looking at Bethesda's track record for legal battles when people don't make progress, it's safe to assume that New Vegas is quite a ways along in its development process. In addition, because Bethesda restricts themselves to only announcing release dates when a game is close to ready, it's likely that they would impose a similar restriction to Obsidian when announcing a release window. In other words, it's very likely that New Vegas will come out within that release window later this year. I know I haven't really said much of anything useful here, but nonetheless, I hope you gleaned some sort of info from watching this video. This is William Strife for Visage Guides and Kerosene Dreams, and I'll see you later.